Hi everybody, Kaiwaza with you. I'm back from my adventures and ready for another video. Today we start just a special series on a particular label. A while back I did 49th State Hawaii records because I think they're visually very beautiful and interesting just to look at collectively everything on that label. And today we're going to do another label that came right after. About the same time 49th State Hawaii Records folded in 1960, I think it was, and the man who ran it retired to California. Another company started up around the same time called Waikiki Records, and they had somewhat of a similar idea. They produced lots and lots of singles, lots and lots of 45s, hundreds of 45s. Geared toward the hula market and the visitor market. Really great music of the time period. They ran from the late 50s through the 1960s. I'm not exactly sure when they ceased operations, but I think probably in the late 60s. Anyway, and during that time period, in addition to all these millions of 45s that they put out, they also put out many record albums. The record albums were primarily compilations of music of 45s by a variety of different artists. So they did do a few albums of solo artists, but only a few. And then the vast majority of the album output was all compilations by a variety of artists, and the albums don't have any really particular theme to them. But the reason I'm presenting them, they are of historical interest. The label is of interest. The albums on this label do fetch some decent prices. A lot of the music is, considered of that classic sort of Hapahauli period of really beautiful Hawaiian music. And the reason I love them as well is that Waikiki Records is visually, like 49th State Hawaii Records, very appealing. They had a very distinctive look to a lot of their albums, the kind of artwork and photographs and pictures and color, very colorful, very beautiful albums. So today I'm just going to start a series, maybe 2-3 videos of just presenting the albums, not talking a lot about them individually because they would have already been covered under the letters that they would be filed under as far as artists and compilations go, but I just wanted to present them together because I think they are worth looking at together just visually. So let's get started. And I'm going to start by showing you the inner sleeve that came on most of the Waikiki records. It's very attractive, I think, inner sleeve they had, and this side with the logo, and then the other side advertising some of their other album releases. And then this is the label, and I do believe they only used one label throughout their run. So first I'm just going to show you, I'm not going to talk a lot about the albums because, as I said, you would have already seen them, but just showing them collectively. First, we're just going to look at the albums that were by single artists because there aren't too many of them. Most were compilations. This is my son Pua. This is Pua Almeida and his father, John Almeida. Just some of their material. Then an album with a great cover, Poolside Music Hawaiiana. Finally, this is Dancing Under the Stars with Pua and his Banyan Court Music. This is previous things that were already on the other two albums I just showed you. So. Then they did a solo album with Richard Cowhey, pianist and vocalist, jazz influenced, really wonderful. Hawaiian Reflections. And a solo album from Ed Kenny, somewhere in Hawaii. Ed Kenny sings. Young Ed Kenny.
My lonely heart is yearning.
Who actually sang on Broadway for a while.
I sailed around the world in sorrow. Without your
These are all
love,
songs
there's
by
no tomorrow.
Tony Tadero and Johnston, I should say. Finally, this is one album, instrumental album, Hawaii Instrumentally Yours, background music for your movies and slides by the Waikiki Islanders. Sort of a concept. It's just very beautiful steel guitar music and vibes, but they give you like suggestions for what your slides are, what music or what songs you might want to play with them. And now the rest of the albums from the Waikiki record label we'll look at are compilations. I would have already talked about them under the letters that we've already gone through in the alphabet, so I'm really just kind of going to show them to you and show the contents. As I said, they did really pretty albums. That's why I'm showing them together, because I just think visually they're kind of pretty to look at all together. The Best of Hawaii's Melodies. All of the material on the albums that we're going to be looking at here pretty much was actually available as 45s, singles by just a variety of different artists, and they would put them together in albums that didn't necessarily have any kind of theme to them necessarily. They just put the music all together on for people that wanted albums rather than 45s or whatever. They were sold, of course, to the tourist market, but also to the local market as well. Beyond the Reef. Poetry on the back of this one.
I'll ask you to remember how my
Here's a interesting one. Do the hula with complete hula instructions. This one here, I'll show you the back, is a gatefold. So it folds out. And inside are, as promised, instructions for each of the selections that's on the album.
lovely hula hands, graceful as the birds in
Dancers in different costuming for each side.
like the gulls over the ocean, lovely hula hands, Kolimanani air. Lovely hula hands, telling of the rains in the valley, and the swirling wind over the pony, lovely hula hands, Kolimanani air.
Famous personality here, Duke Kahanamoku's favorites. Olympic swimmer from Hawaii and famous surfer. And these are supposedly, I have no idea, but these are supposedly his favorites. East is west, and the twain shall meet in Hawaii. That's Eddie Spencer they have a picture of there. Although, as with all these other albums, these are just compilation LPs of 45s that have been put onto an album with not any particular theme. Okay, well, this next two does have a bit of a theme. There's Volume 1 and Volume 2. Hawaiian Slack Key, Volume 1, Guitar with Singing. And that's Gabi Pahinui here. And this guy is it Alvin Isaacs, I think, that's pictured there? Yeah, Alvin Isaacs Sr. I never realized he was so buff, if that's him. And this one is Gabi Pahinui with Alvin Isaacs and some other artists, and it is featuring slack key guitar, but this one is with vocals, so slack key, and they are also singing on this, whereas Volume 2, which has the same cover, except they changed the color on the lettering there, Hawaiian Slack Key Guitar Instrumental Volume 2. So this one is some of the same artists, but instrumental selections featuring slack key guitar, and there's also a fair amount of Hawaiian steel guitar on here. Hawaii's Merry Monarch, Kalakaua. This one's kind of eaten up on the back. I believe that these are, let me see, are these all songs written by Kalakaua or the royal family? No, they're not. They are not, so I'm not exactly sure what the deal is here, but they're highlighting the royal family of Hawaii. Hawaii's Sunset Melodies. Waikiki Records, I believe I said started like in the late 50s, 1958, ran through the 1960s. And I'm going to stop there with Hawaii's Sunset Melodies, and we will resume in the next video looking more Waikiki records, because there are plenty to look at. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you love this kind of music, check out Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio on Live365.com, which broadcasts in the United States and Hawaii, and it's free Hawaiian music to listen to. Also, I am on 8tracks.com under the name Hawaiian Leisure Hour, and there you will find curated playlists from albums just like the ones you're looking at today. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.